I was the one that discovered why good girls like bad guys. I was the fucking scientist that cracked that code. The fucking shit archaeologist who dug through shit trying to find and clean his finds of shit on the Musical.ly or TikTok app. And then I made the video about good girls, bad guys. And then Pyrocynical has the audacity, he has the gall, the chutzpah to steal my video idea, my video in essence. He takes it from me without even mentioning me. And then Memulous had him on the fucking podcast. I raised the boy. I made him a man, put hair on his ball sacks on the podcast, and he turns around and does a TikTok video as well? Again, without even saying that I was the cream supreme of TikTok finds? Disrespectful. Now no one even knows that I was the one that discovered it. And it's a shame. It's a fucking shame. So now I, the holy king, chosen by God himself to sit upon the throne of shitting on insufferably bad TikTok content and watching borderline illegal TikTok content, must retake my place atop this mountain of dog shit that is called TikTok.
You sure you want to do this, little girl? I mean, what if we're dangerous?
This is exactly what I meant by borderline illegal. So apparently this dude was under the impression that he was communicating with and singing to like a 6-year-old girl. And then it turns out she's not actually 6. Fucking got him. Catfish. Lied to. This is like a Chris Hansen play right here. Right out of his playbook. I don't understand. And what the fuck was that picture anyway? It looked like a missing person on the back of a milk carton picture. This is just some weird shit, and it's apparently a trend on TikTok. There's a fucking 100 of these.
Sure you want to do this, little girl? I mean, what if we're dangerous? What if we're dangerous?
How many child predators are there on TikTok? How many dudes were under the impression that they were communicating with children, and then they do this challenge and it turns out they're not children, so they're all surprised? What a fucking weird trend and culture on TikTok. Let's go ahead and check out some more of them. This is cheating a little bit because I already knew about this one. This was a very popular trend a couple years back. The karma's a bitch, and then you like throw a blanket in the air and then all of a sudden your dick's 9 inches long or something. But since it's Halloween, it's got a spin on TikTok where karma's a witch. But I unironically like this clip just because I think that mask is fantastic. It must be a homemade DIY creation from this guy. It looks like Gandalf face-fucked a hobgoblin, and the tongue out from the guy wearing it's that nice little cherry on top to remind you that the platform is still just for sex offenders. That face, the mask, probably is what most of the people who hit like on those videos on TikTok look like behind the phone screen. Who reacts that way to seeing a bottle of water on the floor? If I saw a bottle of water on my floor, I'd be like, oh shit, must have left that bottle of water on the floor. But she stumbles in here like she just walked into a crime scene. She's just fucking disgusted by it. Makes a face like she's watching her parents have sex. Then it turns out that bottle of water's super heavy like Thor's hammer, but luckily she had a real man on standby to come help her with it. It was just a little sneak preview, a little taste of the comedy stylings of TikTok, the comedy genius of the TikTok creators. I know you're probably still recovering from the hoot and holler you had from that heavy bottle challenge clip right there, but trust me, it gets even better on TikTok. Did you see those goofy faces? In case that didn't really tickle you pink, did you see what he was curling? It wasn't a weight, it was a fruit. That's right, this is part of the comedy trend on TikTok called the Fruit Fitness Challenge. I mean, need I say more? This is where all the good shit goes to die. I think that's enough of TikTok for today. I've scrolled through plenty of videos. I think I'm going to call it quits on the TikTok app for tonight. See ya. For a long time, I've mentioned that parents of famous children, whether it be child actors or TikTok stars, YouTubers, whatever, are usually just some of the worst parents on the planet. Just straight up awful. You just hear time and time again about how these parents lead their kids down destructive paths in order to capitalize on their fame. A great example of this is recently from Jeanette McCurdy, who played Sam in iCarly. She released a memoir called I'm Glad My Mom Died, and in it she documents a history of abuse from her mother. As well as Nickelodeon, she talks about some awful shit Nickelodeon did to her, and her mom's response to it was things like, "That's just the price of showbiz. You know, you gotta shake it off. This is what it means to be famous. All the girls would love to be in the position you're in. Don't be so ungrateful." Just horrible things. The mom was well aware of everything that Nickelodeon was doing to her daughter and didn't care. In fact, even piled it on by calling her names and doing other horrible shit. So she just sounds like Shao Kahn. And I know a lot of people were upset with the title of the book. It's kind of aggressive. I'm Glad My Mom Died. Not exactly a Dr. Seuss book title. But I think most people would be somewhat relieved when the boogeyman in their life passes. So I understand where the name is coming from after reading some of it. I haven't finished it, but it's really interesting and very fucking sad. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because it ties into a topic that I want to talk about today that I just learned about. I'm sure all of you have heard of the name Addison Rae by now. She's one of the biggest stars on TikTok, and she's gotten so famous that it extends well beyond TikTok. So even if you're not big on the platform like me, you still at least know her name. Well, her dad is a fucking weirdo, and he has torn apart their family for the sake of his own clout chasing.
Can I get a
That's someone's father. That's a 46-year-old man posting some fine, distilled, twice folded over, double caked up cringe on Maine. This is Addison Rae's dad. And he, of course, did what every other TikTok parent does. He made his own account. He has like 5.4 million followers. And he threw away his entire family in order to try and make money off of his daughter's name and become famous himself. But not only that, he used his pseudo-celebrity status of being the parent of a famous person to allegedly flirt with 19 and 20-year-olds. He even was having a 5-month affair here with a girl that's less than half his age. He allegedly cheated on his wife multiple times, and they eventually got a divorce. He also has 2 other sons, which I can't imagine how awful this situation must be for the whole family, but them in particular, since they're still super young and obviously in tune with social media, they're seeing all of the unhinged, wild shit their father's doing, and it has to be soul-crushing. I feel so terrible for the entire family, and it's gotten so bad they've sounded the DEFCON alert system. Almost every TikTok influencer in the space has told at least one story about Monty Lopez being creepy to them. They need like a restraining order or something where Monty Lopez can't be within 5 miles of a TikTok influencer because he sniffs this shit out like a goddamn animal. He's got like a spidey sense for it. He just gets this tingle and shows up to every TikTok party imaginable by himself. He doesn't go with Addison Rae or anything. He goes solo, which already is a giant red flag. There's nothing wrong with TikTok stars' parents being involved in their life or even in their videos. Like, Addison Rae made a ton of videos with her mom and dad and brothers, and that's totally fine, wholesome, whatever. But it gets to a point where it's uncomfortable when the dad is just going to all these parties by himself without the actual star of the family there, because now he's got it in his disillusioned, brainwashed mind that he's the star. So he goes there and allegedly hits on the 19 and 20-year-old influencers there, and everyone's uncomfortable. There's a ton of videos of him at these parties, like one where he's handing out roses to some of the girls there. There's a lot of footage that makes it just seem like Bigfoot sightings. They'll like circle in a red circle, like Monty Lopez in the background, like being weird with a TikToker. It's so weird. It's like found footage, you know, but it's not blurry. It's fucking caught in 4K being creepy. He also starts beef with these young women. Like, he started shitting on Tana Mongeau. I'm not going to bring up any of these clips because the clips themselves aren't very entertaining or interesting. It's the story itself that's interesting and sad. So he posted a TikTok saying, "Do you think Tana Mongeau's fucked more than 300 dudes or less than 300 dudes?" To which Tanner responds by showing a ton of receipts about him trying to like hook up with her or like trying to connect with her, as well as telling stories about how unbelievably weird he is to all the other TikTok stars. There's also a video of him FaceTiming a 19-year-old like really late at night in the car. It's just very yucky stuff. And this is just another perfect example of how awful a lot of parents are for child stars. Because I think a lot of them, like Monty Lopez, treat their children as props for their own success. So Addison Rae gets super famous. Monty Lopez weasels his way into some of the videos, makes his own social media accounts, which get popular because he's the dad of one of the biggest stars on the platform. And now it's gone to his head. He wiped his ass with his whole family, divorced his wife, and now just tries to fuck young women and try and become a wealthy TikTok star himself. Just another tragic story of a child star whose dad is absolute vile filth. There's nothing that Addison Rae's mother's done that I've found that's distasteful or bad or anything like that. I want to make it clear. It's not her whole family, it's just her dad. But the topic itself that I'm focusing on is just how awful a lot of these parents can be. In this case, the parent is Monty. From everything I've seen, Addison Rae's mom hasn't done anything wrong or anything. She seems very wholesome. And in fact, the reason why Monty Lopez wants to fight Young Gravy is because Young Gravy has been very public about wanting to be with Addison Rae's mom, Sherry. And Sherry's even teased back about them going on like dates and shit. So Young Gravy might fuck Addison Rae's mom, and it makes Monty Lopez uncomfortable. I don't know the whole lore behind all that, but Monty Lopez sucks. Just another sad case of a shitty parent using their kids to further their own agenda no matter what the cost. Also, big shout out to Monty. I'd like to add one more thing to this. This fucking parasite claims videos that show clips of him embarrassing himself. His whole TikTok page is just his worst moments as a human being displayed. This guy has no self-awareness. Every single video he posts on there is a video that any sane person would want deleted and scrubbed from the internet forever. Yet he proudly posts. And I can't show any of them because he claims the videos where people are insulting him for it. So this absolute insufferable douchebag anus still has the audacity to try and somehow fight for his public reputation despite doing everything possible to sink to the lowest depths of hell to be the giant scumbag. He blows my mind. He's all about like the grind and money, so he takes the absolute most revolting approaches to it by copyright claiming videos that use some of his clips to try and take the ad revenue from it or whatever. It's so wild to me. I was reading a bit about it, and just when I thought he couldn't get any worse, I learned that he was copyright claiming shit. A YouTuber named Dumpy even mentioned that he had to pitch up some of the videos because Monty kept claiming it. It's fucking silly. This guy is just an absolute massive clown, and I feel so sorry for his entire family. I can't imagine he was a great father growing up, and he's only getting worse. Of course, I'm making a giant assumption. Maybe he was a fine father figure who got corrupted once his family or once his daughter got famous. I couldn't tell you, but this guy sucks. He's weird, creepy, and what he's done to his family is unforgivable. That's really about it. So yeah. I don't think I've ever looked at an extremely wealthy person and thought to myself, damn, I feel bad for them. Until today. I found this absolutely pathetic turbo virgin douchebag on TikTok who apparently has a ton of money, but is extremely insecure, and it just comes across as the saddest shit I've seen in my life. And I thought I'd share at least a little bit of this guy with you.
Alright, so since y'all keep talking shit, I'm going to rub more of my opulent lifestyle in your faces.
This is an actual person, by the way. He looks like Gary Vee going through a phase. This guy looks like a GTA Online character that's being controlled by a 13-year-old, and his house looks exactly the same as that. Like it's an actual middle schooler's fantasy for shit they'd think is cool. He's trying so hard to make it look like he's not trying at all. He's doing that generic rich asshole thing where he just puts a gun out on a counter during his tour. Oh, whoops-a-daisy. How embarrassing. It looks like my AK-47's just sitting out in the open. Oh, goodness gracious. But that doesn't even look like a real AK-47. It looks like a prop. It looks like something he got out of Party City. Shit looks like it's made out of chocolate. It could be real, I suppose, but I think what's more likely there is he asked his mom if he could go buy a gun for his video, and he just went to the nearest Walmart and got whatever toy he could find.
I'm gonna give you a tour of just one room of my grandiose two-story penthouse in paradise. It's basically like Fifth Avenue with one of the best Caribbean Ocean views you'll ever see.
What a lovely picture behind him. An American Psycho reference, obviously, but what an incredible photo shoot. His sister worked really hard that day to set that one up for him. Just to really give the impression to anyone that comes over that this guy has sex, but once you meet him, you'll know for sure he doesn't.
Alright, and for those of you who say I rent my yeah, I'm sure the guy that I rented my place from put these two $50,000 mirrors perfectly aligned on the wall so that I could put a 7-foot self-portrait of myself perfectly in between them.
Yes, this guy's got thousands of fucking self-portraits of himself all over the place. That's his big thing. Just art of himself everywhere. I'm sure his toilet even has pictures of his face on it, so that way he's always eating your ass out. But the thing is, I can't find too much information about how he made his money, so I'm led to believe that he's just a trust fund kid who's grown up, but has never really experienced anything in the world, so this is what he thinks is cool. I don't know for sure, because I really thought going into this it was satire, but the more I've watched from this guy, the more I believe that this is just him. This is genuinely what he is and what he's become. Now, admittedly, I didn't look that hard into his background. I just watched his TikToks to laugh at them. So maybe he actually did make money somehow, like scamming through NFTs or crypto or something. It's possible, but I think what's most likely is his money just comes from his parents.
Dumb. Look at this. This is 3,000 square feet. One room, 3,000 square feet of pure chic opulence. That's bigger than most of y'all's houses, I'm sure. Or 3 times the size of mom's basement you live in.
Ooh, hear that, basement dwellers? You just got fucking chatted on a little bit. I also love that he starts this, since you all are talking shit and hurting my feelings, I'm gonna cry on camera by pretending like my life has meaning with this money that I didn't earn. Like, he literally starts the video like, since you're making me feel bad, I'm gonna try and flex, and it still doesn't make me feel any less bad, but maybe it'll make you not feel cool too, asshole.
Look at this. Look at this Calcutta marble. It's 100G of marble between that wall installation and my dining table. And that chandelier, that'll run you about the cost of 2 entry-level Mercedes-Benzes. So, if you want to keep talking go ahead. You. I give 0
Yeah, this looks and sounds like a guy who gives 0 fucks. Literally comes on here whining and crying about talking shit, so he tries to flex. Yeah, you really don't care, big guy.
Alright, little advice for all you TikTok trolling minion clowns who, in your language, don't pull. Bitches love hot tubs. Especially decadent ass motherfucking hot tubs like this. Look at this.
Yeah, this guy speaks like he just learned what cussing is, and those girls look extremely happy to be there, the way they're just rubbing up all on him. They're enamored right now. They're hypnotized by this man's wealth and suave badassness. That's like his bio. He says how much of a badass he is. It's really pretty embarrassing shit. This man is the embodiment of cringe, if cringe also came with a couple $1 million from daddy. So he keeps suckling on his parents' tits and milking them for all they're worth for these TikTok videos here. And he's obviously paid these women to be here. You can tell by the way they're acting. This isn't like normal. This is a shoot. This is a fucking shoot, and they're paid for like 45 minutes of their time. I always find that to be the most embarrassing shit about these kind of people that try and flex wealth. The women they put in their videos is always very clearly people they have paid to be there. How is that not extremely embarrassing? That you had to pay women to be around you for your videos.
Questioning my legitimacy and overall badassness. So I felt the need, of course, to retort in kind. Right now, I'm sitting on a $12,000 chair.
That's another thing that's always bothered me about these rich people videos, is that they can just make up prices for shit whenever they want, and you have no way of really proving it wrong. But I bet that's not a $12,000 chair that his swamp ass is sitting on. That's probably one of those like really cheap chairs that you can find at Halloween stores once a year that they use for decorations outside.
I'm sitting in front of my mugshot, painted on bullets. It's pretty cool. You may ask yourself, why the does this guy have this? Why does he have it? Well, the answer is number 1, because I can, and number 2, because I'm badass as I am the game.
My man here is the opposite of the game. This guy had to pay women to be around him. Now, it does look like he has money, so the first one is true. He has it because he can. The second one, though, I don't think there's a single person alive that would consider this guy badass. He is literally crying on TikTok in almost every video about people being mean to him. So his response to that is flexing wealth on him that he may or may not have made himself. Again, I don't know for sure. But that doesn't strike me as something a badass would do. And something that a badass would absolutely never do is call themselves badass as fuck. That's like Borderlands writing. Jesus Christ. Also, you've probably seen the necklace that he's wearing. It says S my C. It's suck my cock. The guy made a custom sterling silver suck my cock necklace. So this is a guy who is beyond insecure. He probably reads every comment, and any one of them that's not sucking his cock is considered a negative comment and probably takes a large toll on his mental health. He is probably not in the right frame of mind to be on TikTok, since most people on there are just making fun of him. It's a really sad thing, honestly. And it just goes to show, maybe money can't buy happiness. That's about it. So yeah. Throughout my entire academic career, I got consistently decent grades because I did the bare minimum of just turning in assignments when they were due. But of course, I'd occasionally slip up, you know, I'm human, everyone makes mistakes. And in those situations, I always did what every cornered animal does. I lashed out, I showed my teeth, and I threw the Hail Mary. So I'd always try and weasel my way out or buy extra time through a little white lie, coming up with an excuse. I'd always try the classics like, "Hey professor, I'm sorry, my report's not ready today, I'm gonna need a little extra time. Last night, I found my brother lying face down in a pool of his own vomit. As you know, he struggles with alcoholism, and he was about to meet his maker, so I had to improvise a saline drip solution in order to save his life, and things just got away from me, and I ran out of time." You know, I just try it because why not? There's no reason not to at least try and come up with an excuse to get a little extra time out of the assignment. But you know what there's never an excuse for? Drunk driving. Yeah, you bet your sweet bippy all of that was to say, I have no fucking respect for drunk drivers at all. I think it's inexcusable. I think it's unforgivable. Like, there's just never any justification for driving drunk. Especially not in today's world, where there's like Uber, Lyft, there's like 1,000 ways of just getting a ride home. Like, Jesus Christ, you could probably find someone on Craigslist that's giving piggyback rides out for $10. Like, there is just always a better way that doesn't involve driving drunk. And the reason I'm talking about that today is because a TikTok star named Amanda Caravala just lost her whole influencer career because a very embarrassing video has now hit the internet of her DUI that she received last year. It's fucking rough. I just saw a lot of people talking about it. I don't know the TikTok star, but it's apparently a pretty goofy video. So I wanted to at least see a little bit about it. It's nothing crazy. Okay, I'm still gonna give it a chance. This intro is going so hard for no reason. Makes me feel like I'm watching Miami Vice. What seems to be the problem, officer? How long are we just gonna stay? I mean, I think we can safely assume she's sleeping here. Maybe knock on the window. Are we timing her? Yeah, it looks like everything's okay here. Oh my god, wait, there's more police officers. Oh, you can't see it. Behind my webcam. There's more police officers right here. Man, this whole block was popping off here. Damn. Everyone's catching the heat out here. I think we can establish that this is no condition to be driving in. She's missed a full cycle already. They might run if he wakes her up. That's a really good point that I didn't think about. That was actually a good point. So what's the proper protocol here? Slash her tires so she can't? Like, we're gonna have to wake her up eventually. We can't just let her sleep here all night. Oh. I see, so that was the play.
Whoa, whoa. Wake up! Put it in park!
Put the car in park!
Put
Damn.
the car in park!
She's like a zombie.
Police department, put the car in park!
Holy shit.
Wake up!
What is happening in there? This reminds me of the scene from the Resident Evil movie where there's that guy who says, "Don't open the door," right before he gets like his head blown off.
Come park over here.
Yeah, Amanda's having a real tough time here staying in this corporeal realm. Every time she starts dozing off, her jaw just falls to the floor like a dementor about to suck out some happiness. It is like actually kind of disturbing to look at. I've been super drunk, like turbo intoxicated, and I can't recall any videos of me ever looking like that. Like, that is a different level where, like, your jaw muscles stop responding to you. So this could be more than just alcohol. Of course, I'm not there testing her blood or going over toxicology reports. I'm just speculating as a pea-brained fucking idiot observer over here. It just looks really weird that her jaw is doing its absolute best to escape her face. She starts looking like the monster from the Amnesia game. Man, this is rough. Holy shit, how long do we stay in this standoff?
Would you mind opening the door for me?
Break the window? I'm surprised they haven't. Hey, there we go.
Excellent. There we go.
Oh,
It's the police department.
Hey, what's going on?
Take your seatbelt off.
How fast was I going?
Know where you're at?
They're both, checking out the seats. I think you guys are like shit, you know what I'm saying?
What?
Relax for a second.
What happened?
Do you know where you're at?
Yeah?
Where?
At the decision.
At the what?
I don't live in.
At the what?
At the decision that.
Go step over here. Hey, we're gonna go over here. Go over.
At the what? What did you... The Abin Simon? Holy shit. Damn, she is fucked up.
A bunch of cop cars. And
Nice. Astute observation.
Alright, come over here. Hello.
Maybe she's sober.
What's your name?
Amanda.
Amanda, what's going on tonight?
He's talking to her like a dog.
Cop car.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Me?
Yes. How much have you had to drink tonight? How much have you had to drink tonight?
Nothing.
Be honest.
What time is it?
3 o'clock.
Okay, 3 o'clock.
Yeah, how much have you had to drink?
3 o'clock. I've had 3 o'clock to drink tonight.
Okay. Alright. Alright, so my next
Right.
question to you. Alright, man.
Can't argue with that,
Other
to be
questions?
fair. That was a pretty good
Anything that's
checkmate.
medically wrong with you? Are you diabetic?
How am I supposed to track your finger with just my eyes when my kids' cars are moving over here?
Okay. Alright, so
No
kids'
reason.
cars. Okay.
You wanna face this way?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
is she seeing? My kids' cars? Is it like in Looney Tunes where when someone gets hit with a mallet over their head, they're seeing like stars and little Tweety birds flying around in circles? This is... What the fuck? Yeah, this is like beyond faded. No, I'm sorry for the mistake, ma'am. Please, continue on your way. Seems we were wrong.
No shit!
Oh boy.
No shit!
Now we've reached that stage of being drunk where it's just loud and angry.
Shit!
Well, she either got banned or doesn't have an account on here anymore. Now, Amanda Caravala wasn't like a super duper TikTok star, but she had almost 2 billion views on the platform before, I'm assuming, being removed from it, or maybe she got laughed off the platform once this video was released. I'm really not sure on the timeline there. But if you want a little more information on the case, this video is actually from 2021, and she pled guilty and was sentenced to 12 months probation and 6 days of community service, and then paid about $2,000 in fines. So, overall, she got off pretty easy. Even though she wasn't involved in an accident or there were no victims, at least not that we know of, I still think that this is light sentencing, but of course it could be my own bias because of how much I despise the act of drunk driving. It's needlessly dangerous and endangers not only the driver's life, but anyone in their car and anyone in any car around them. It's fucking ridiculous. So she got off super easy. Like, I mean, goddamn. When they asked her how much she had to drink, her reply was 3 o'clock. She's had 3 o'clock to drink. Do you know how much that is? If you convert that into fluid ounces, that's like 5,000 beers. Like, that is an incredible amount of alcohol she's consumed. Like, her BAC must have been like a 10.0. Oh yeah, I also didn't show it in the video here, but I'll just explain it to you. Towards the end of her arrest, she kept asking for someone named Mike Davis to show up to the scene, as if she was like trying to summon Batman. Like, she repeatedly asks for some vigilante named Mike Davis, who apparently works for that police department. And that got a big giggle out of me, because I love to imagine, like, Mike Davis hears his name being called somewhere, and he hops in his car and his cruiser, turns on the siren, scoots in sideways, and gets out like an action movie hero and says, "All right, boys, I've got it from here. You're safe now, Amanda." Like, I just have to imagine, like, she must have known of someone loosely in the police department and just tried her best to, like, get out of this by dropping his name, to no avail. Still getting arrested. And then she makes a huge hoopla in the car on the way there. But yeah, I just wanted to show this because I think this is an instructive moment on how your entire online career can be undone with one horrible decision. And not only that, a decision like drunk driving could just straight up end your life. One bad decision like that could just straight up fucking kill you. That's not an exaggeration. That shit happens all the time. Fuck drunk driving. Don't do it. A little PSA. That's about it. See ya. There is no worse or more degenerate place on the entire internet than TikTok Live. TikTok live streams are actual hell on earth. You'd sooner find me in the adult baby diaper lovers community forums before you'd find me in a goddamn TikTok live stream chat. I would sooner go to the front lines of a war zone than venture on over to TikTok live streams. It's just so bad and pathetic. The majority of the TikTok live streams I've ever seen are just blatant scams or people non-stop begging for donations with a made-up sob story. And that's what we're going to focus on today. I'm sure you've already seen some of the more popular scammers on TikTok live streams, such as the one Mudahar recently made a video about. This is a trend where you have these adults near children who appeared to be ill, and it's a pre-recorded video, it's not actually live. Sorry to spoil the Christmas magic there. And what they're doing is they're just begging for money, like, you know, rocking back and forth, saying like, guys, this child's gonna stay sick unless you give us money right now. Your money can bring this child back to life. We have the antidote, we just don't have the money. The panacea will save them, and we just need your money to save this child's life because they're so sick. If you don't send the money, they're gonna stay sick forever. Please don't let this happen. And it's obviously aimed at exploiting people's willingness to help those in need. This one's actually a pretty deep scam because it's not just individuals doing it by themselves. It's actually like an entire business that is having people do this for them. Like, it's like almost an entire empire they're building off of this scam. At least that's what it appears to be. And there's one other thing I'd like to mention, and this one's not very important. It's just a little pet peeve of mine that really grinds my asshole. In TikTok, the way you tip isn't directly with money. They had to be quirky about it and unique. So instead of tipping real money, you're tipping goofy, dumb shit like roses or sunglasses, top hats. Oh, thanks for the 5 roses. Whoa, 14 Glurpies? Holy shit, you're too generous. Oh my god, a milkshake? No, you guys are being too nice today. I understand it's Christmas, but you can't be spending this kind of money giving me a dragon? I hate it. I hate it so much. Don't be such a fucking weirdo. Just make it like 1-to-1, like, oh, here's $5 or whatever. I hate that they have to like convert it into stupid little Microsoft clip art shit as like, here's what you got tipped, it's a rose. It's dumb, I hate that. Not important, but just something I wanted to point out. So this is a very common scam, but it's not the only one. There are just so many scams similar to this, and there's a video that's been posted by a YouTuber named Wasabi who goes over one of the biggest culprits of scamming like this, and probably the most popular one, who frequently does these kind of live streams and still hasn't been banned, and actually has a following of over 500,000 people.
But for live streaming instead.
If you end up on the TikTok live stream section, you've already fucked up. Like, I'm just gonna assume you're there for something nefarious. Like, why the fuck would you ever watch a TikTok live stream? Go anywhere else for live content. Not TikTok. Like, holy shit. It's fucking terrible. That is the worst streams ever. Bar none.
Becomes a lot more appealing to people wanting to give live streaming a shot, or potentially by scammers who see it as a great opportunity to take advantage of other people.
So I'm judging by the thumbnail, this is the scammer he's about to call out, and I can already tell you he's doing the exact same scam that I briefly mentioned. I'm going to take a shot here, just based off of the other scams I know on TikTok live streams. He plays pre-recorded videos begging for money, doing something, telling a sob story, one of the two. And he just loops that shit endlessly to try and farm money out of it.
And we are not getting a galaxy. You see, I just needed to be positive because we aren't getting a galaxy. I was so confident. You are making me rage today. You are making me rage today because we aren't getting a galaxy. Which means I don't have to knock it over, which means I'm not going to rage, and which means I'm not emo. Because galaxy means I'm emo and I have to knock it down.
Someone translate. Is a galaxy some kind of like in-app currency that's a big one? What does that translate to real currency? How many doubloons? Why am I... How am I getting so many different answers to that question? I'm just gonna look it up myself. How in the fuck? It is a standard rate on the gift, I have to imagine. How the fuck did I get a range of $5 to $1,000 from so many different people? Jesus, why do I ask? Why do I bother asking? Cost $13.50. God damn it. Holy shit, it is $13.50. Okay, so then this is just everyone's doing this scam then. Displaying pre-recorded videos as a stream.
This fake. No, your mom fake. It's not fake.
The cherry on top, some people don't even have real streams. They're just pre-recorded. They're fake. So the process for going live is pretty straightforward. On TikTok's website, it says you must be 8 that don't know any better, so they're easy to fool and potentially get money from. So
that's also very common. On TikTok Live, I know they take Twitch streams sometimes and just broadcast it there as well on their page to farm off of the TikTok stream, or off the Twitch streamer. So they'll take like a VOD. They'll take like, let's say, XQC playing GTA RP. They'll take his entire stream, download it onto their phone or tablet or whatever, and then they'll just play it as a live stream on TikTok and just let people come in and just farm. That's pretty common on TikTok. I've seen that before. Do I watch TikTok? The only time I go on TikTok is when there's like an interesting drama story. Otherwise, I don't fucking touch it. I am not really too big of a fan. I'm sure there's good content on there somewhere, but I'm not going to be the one digging through to find it. It's more than $13. There's no way it's like $100. Are you talking about the Galaxy? What do you mean? I looked it up. TikTok Galaxy cost. Why did you donate to tell me that when you can just look it up yourself? Roughly the equivalent to $13 to $15 or $13.50 overall. This is outdated? This is December 11th of 2022. It was a week ago. What the fuck do you mean it's outdated? Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe inflation's a whole new kind of beast over on TikTok. I'm just going to say this is probably correct for now.
the easiest way to tell if a stream is fake is to look at the user's profile. For a majority of them, their profiles are either blank with a fake profile picture, and the bio either has no text, or some of them say, "Don't give me Galaxy," which is their way of saying, "Give me money."
Are you serious right now? I haven't blinked for the last 17 days. You can literally join my live right now and check for yourself. I don't blink.
This is unwatchable. Holy fuck.
Live? That is cap, bro. I haven't blinked in the last 7 days. You can literally join my.
Is it a scam, or do people have bad taste? No, it's a scam. He just plays pre-recorded videos. So when you donate to him, and he's like, "Give me a Galaxy or I'm gonna fucking cry and pee-pee. Give me a Galaxy or it's gonna be real wet trousers in here. No Galaxy?" And then the chat, for some reason, does donate a Galaxy. But since it's a pre-recorded video, he doesn't react to it or anything. He just loops that video endlessly forever. He has all the Galaxies he needs. Yeah. He's got too many Galaxies now. He's got his bag. He said enough is enough. I'll leave a couple solar systems for the rest of you plebs. So Wasabi went over the minimum payout threshold, which is really generous. It's $10. As long as you make $10, you can get paid out for that. So getting one Galaxy pretty much immediately covers that. And I imagine he's actually been successful in farming that, considering he has 520,000 followers. And a lot of them just really don't seem to get it. I understand they're kids that still don't have object permanence, where if you put like an orange behind your back, they think it vanishes from existence. So these kids still believe that they're watching real content from the guy, even though it's pre-recorded videos. So I have no doubt that he's been able to get a lot of money out of doing this over and over and over again. He's also been doing this for a long time now. There's videos on YouTube right now that have called him out multiple times over the course of the last like 6 months at least, from like a Cheeto as well as a couple other commentary channels. So he's just been at this grind, the Sigma male grind, all year. Just absolutely scamming children, taking candy from babies.
Followers and likes on his actual profile. But if you were to actually catch one of his lives, then you would see that as a pre-recorded video. Another way to tell that's pre-recorded is look at another YouTuber who has already covered this exact same guy before. A video that they showed for him over 6 months ago is a video that I just showed that I recorded myself when he was live a few days ago. So yeah, the entire thing is fake. And then of course, just like all these profiles that want to try and get money out of you or scam you, they have a link, you click on it, and then they provide 3 different drop downs saying earn this, make this, when all of it is not real. But
the Eater of Worlds was unsatisfied with just Galaxies. his gluttony knows no bounds. So even apart from just the live stream scams, he now also includes more scams in his bio. He's double, even triple dipping into the art of scamming. So you click on his bio link and it brings you to the age-old scam, a classic, an iconic one even, where it's gift card giveaways, win an iPhone, win 50,000 skateboards, win a date with Jenna Ortega, like just all of these stupid things where like, oh, click here, get $750 and an iPhone and shit like that. All of it fake. All of it a scam. So this guy's entire identity online is based around just absolutely slapping kids and their parents' wallets around. But of course, he's not the only one doing it. It is extremely common on the platform right now. So again, I don't know why you'd ever go to a TikTok live stream unless you're really just trying to lose money for the sake of losing it. But at that point, just flush it down the toilet. Why bother giving it to a piece of shit like this guy? So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about some of the scams going around on there, and that's about it. So yeah. The desperation for online attention on TikTok is a poison more potent than cyanide, but it doesn't kill you instantly. It's a long, drawn-out, painful, and embarrassing death. And today I want to talk about someone who's got a very severe terminal case of toxic clout goblin. It's a TikTok psychic named Ashley. You might have even heard of her by now because she's made a name for herself in the national headlines. She is a self-proclaimed TikTok clairvoyant who uses her psychic abilities to solve murders. And she recently took on the case of the University of Idaho killer who killed 4 students. The real killer was arrested, however, before Bryan Kohberger, the actual killer being accused here, the main suspect, was taken into custody. Ashley made a long series of videos accusing someone else named Rebecca Schofield of being the killer. It was based on nothing other than tarot card readings and Ashley's own gift of tapping into the universal consciousness. A YouTuber named Detozy recently made a great video covering some of her Unhinged videos, but there are so many more. She basically just made a fan fiction about this completely innocent lady named Rebecca and framed her as the killer, and even convinced some brain-rotted individuals on TikTok that she was correct and Rebecca was the real killer. And even though Bryan Kohberger's been taken in with a ton of evidence against him, she is doubling down saying that they got it wrong and that she was right, and that it's the authorities' incompetence that's letting Rebecca get away with it. It's disgusting, really. Like, it's straight up just fucking deplorable. And now Ashley, the psychic superstar, is being sued by Rebecca for all this shit. And rightfully so. She completely deserves to get slapped around in court for this kind of garbage. And I just wanted to go over some of this with you because I truly was blown away by what I was hearing from her. It's a really interesting look into just pure delusion. Ashley really thinks she's like Mob from Mob Psycho, like some kind of crazy, powerful, psychic, like, hero. But in reality, she's just dangerously dumb. And then accusing innocent people of horrible crimes.
TikTok psychic.
I'm sure he'll set the stage, but just in case anyone doesn't know, TikTok investigator made a claim that they found the University of Idaho murderer responsible for the death of those 4 students, and they said it was their professor. And when, asked about evidence, and the evidence they presented was tarot card readings, I believe. So, not the most bulletproof of investigations out there. But who's to go against tarot cards, right? You'd be a fool to bet against the tarot cards. But you know how that story played out? The actual killer was caught, thanks in part to a Reddit post that they made. And now I believe this lady is getting sued.
TikToker by the name of Ashley, she started creating some pretty unhinged TikToks claiming that she knew who was behind all of this. And this is with zero proof, just visions. So disclaimer here.
Hey, and look how far Raven got with those visions. I wouldn't be shitting on that so heavily if I were you. You never know what she might envision next.
Before I begin this Who is Rebecca Schofield series and her motives for the University of Idaho students, let's just dispel the rumors. No, I do not know Rebecca Schofield. I'm not connected to her in any kind of way. I'm not emotionally tied to her or any of the victims. I'm not connected to anyone. I have no reason to lie on her.
But then, you know what? Who am I to chime in so early? She's still going over the process. I'm sorry for the interruption.
I did not just see her picture and name on the University of Idaho history page and then automatically feel it was her. This is not a feeling, this is knowledge. I have no feeling.
Knowledge from where?
I did a reading when I saw Rebecca Schofield on the history department's page on Rebecca Schofield and her connection.
Pardon me, detective. Wasn't one of the first things you said, I didn't just see her on this university page and start accusing her. And then immediately your process is, so I saw her on the university page and I decided to do a reading. Well then. This is quite watertight knowledge we're gathering here. Please continue to cook, I'm sorry.
Rebecca Schofield and Kaylee connected because she needed an advisor. She was about to graduate.
How does she know this?
She wanted advice on personal growth.
It's called fan fiction. Get with the times.
She needed resolution for anything or anyone that was getting in the way of her ability to graduate about her sexuality. During this time
What? What is that?
Rebecca Schofield.
Oh my god, this is so much longer than I expected. I thought she just did like a single tarot card reading. It's like, look at this. She pulled the murderer card. So that's how I know she's guilty. She's just going through an entirely made-up story of fucking nothing.
Schofield is in a dreamlike state. She's opened up that passion that she had suppressed for women that was now placed on Kaylee.
What?
She's explaining it like it's some random fanfic. There's fanfics written about me that are like have similar
about her desire for her, but also her desire for women and how she suppressed those desires because of tradition and societal viewpoints.
She wanted so badly to write the next 50 Shades of Grey, but wasn't able to actually find success on any of those erotic adult fan fiction sites. So instead she went to TikTok to try and do it, but she's using an actual case of murder. And then accusing a real person of being the murderer.
She said that she was so introspective that she lost her connection to her husband and that she needed to focus on her finding her truth and her.
Speaking of truth, I want to see a little bit more about the lawsuit first. This is far more wild than I expected. I thought for sure this was just going to be a quick cut and dry, hey, tip Fedora. I pulled out my tarot card readings today, and look who turned out to be a murderer. This lady. Case closed. Thank you for attending my TED Talk. But man, she went with like fucking 15-minute audio book of like a girl-on-girl sexual erotica. What was her name? Warlock Holmes. That's pretty good. I like that. Oh, here it is. Professor Sue's TikToker who accused her in University of Idaho murders. It's a defamation lawsuit. Here, let me just pull it up. I don't know why I'm just going to read it to you like it's story time. Has she not said anything like public? Hold on, let me go to her TikTok. Is she doubling down? How old is this? This is 6 days ago. She's in here. She's still going. Rebecca Schofield, not the murderer, by the way. Just a completely random person she did a tarot card reading on. Rebecca Schofield's Alibi, Part 2. Murder of 4 University of Idaho students. This would still be after they caught the real murderer. And she's still going.
It seems to be an impossible task set before me.
Because it is. You did a tarot card reading. It is an impossible task. This is after they caught the murderer, though.
It was fresh, you know, and I laughed at it, didn't take it too seriously. But they keep saying the same thing because they lack creativity, they lack spirit. So they don't have the creative mind to say something different.
You accused an innocent elderly woman of being a murderer. What do you mean creativity and having fun with actual dead college kids and trying to pin it all on just some lady? Oh my god, what the fuck? The lack of remorse. The lack of shame.
Someone wait till I post just to say the same thing over and over. It's demonic, and it should be embarrassing. That's why a lot of them have fake pages. They're embarrassed to do it on their own page.
I will give her something. The lack of shame is refreshing. She's putting her whole face in here, saying it with her whole chest. being blatantly wrong. I appreciate that. That is nice to see. At this point, it's obvious. Rebecca Schofield silenced Kaylee through her ex. She wanted to silence me, so she contacted my ex. She needs like a legitimate psychiatric evaluation. This is like dangerously stupid. Holy shit, this is actually nuts. I thought for sure she'd be like, oh, it looks like I may have been wrong. The tarot cards were off. Like, try and save some face. But she's just doubling down on it.
Wants to be with Kaylee. She had a deep desire for her. It feels like love. Infatuation.
I understand why this Rebecca Schofield person is suing her, because this is just insane.
We're satisfied physically.
No, like actually true. I totally get it.
Imagine you're a professor.
To make sure he had plenty of resources so that he can accurately put the energy in to manifest his dreams and his best life. She said his dreams are worthy of living. He said that he wasn't too old to learn, and that his
this is like a
talents
plot
have
to
yet
an
be
anime.
discovered. She didn't ask.
And then he learned to do the Kamehameha wave. And then he trained on King Kai's planet.
I haven't been sued, so that's why some demand letters you take serious.
Man, it's looking a lot like Christmas over there.
Wrong. But the ones that
The
are used
lawsuits
as a
are coming.
scare tactic,
Yeah, that video aged very poorly.
I think that's how y'all want me to feel about a measly ass $75,000 lawsuit that I'm gonna win.
That's such a good filter. I thought it was real at first. That filter gets me every time. I love that fucking filter. Though, I mean, $75,000 lawsuit's not great. Like you don't have to pretend. I know that hurts. That hurts anyone. That's a lot of fucking money. I don't know why we're like posturing here. That shit hurts.
Oh my god. Discovering things about her, because now everything I find out about her crime she committed of ordering of the 4 University of Idaho students, I have to save it.
You don't have to save it. There's no point in saving it. Just say whatever you have now, because it's gonna come out in court anyway. So, oh my goodness.
I really
don't
hope
think
this
she
is a
has
public
anything,
trial.
because you're really
Holy
sitting
shit,
on
I
so
need
much
to see
information
that.
from what, a tarot card reading? Oh my god.
Like, I have physical evidence against Rebecca Schofield that validates everything that I've said about her, but I can't speak on it now because
I would love to see the physical evidence she has to confirm that Rebecca Schofield was trying to get into a romantic relationship with Kaylee and that Rebecca Schofield was struggling with her own internalized lesbianism and all of that wild shit. And then talking about like how she had plans to leave her husband in order to spend the rest of her life with Kaylee and then having to hire an assassin to take her out. I would love to see the physical evidence she had for those claims. Oh, true, the tarot cards. That doesn't lie. That's a good point. I didn't even think about the tarot cards. That is going to be a crucial piece of evidence. She has an alt account, Ashley is God in the flesh, and she posts there frequently, updated 3 hours ago and said the investigators are wrong and she did the right thing using her gift for right reasons. Oh, yeah, good, there's still more. Ashley is God in the flesh, huh? That's like a major sin, by the way. She seems to be very religious. To claim that you are God is like a major no-no. It's like she never even read the Bible or knows anything about it for some reason. God fucking smited an entire town for making that golden statue of whatever it was.
then they took the bait with Brian Kohlberger. Brian Kohlberger he didn't make the smartest decision regarding the murders, but he didn't commit the murders. So the people that they should have been arresting is Rebecca Schofield and Jack DeCour. So stop blaming me for other people's ignorance, incompetence, or negligence. Y'all.
That's amazing. Holy Lord. What in the world? What a load of horseradish. This is fascinating. I also want to keep up with some of the commenters. They know what's up. That's why they issued the gag orders. Not to mention Brian is 100% sure to be exonerated. I want to keep up with every commenter as well and see what happens when it turns out Brian is most likely the murderer. I hope, Rebecca, if you're watching, I hope you will make the trial with Ashley live streamed. That would be one of the most entertaining fucking things, because I know Ashley's going to represent herself. Absolutely. She's going to bring the tarot cards. She's gonna bring some incense, maybe a Ouija board. 100%. She's gonna be like, watch this. I'm gonna prove that it's Rebecca. I'm gonna communicate with the dead students on my Ouija board. I have no doubt she would. Oh! Oh my god. Maybe Ashley does have spiritual powers. Holy Lord. Oh! I'm under a psychic attack. One of my little Warframe figurines fell over. Okay, never mind. Ashley's powerful. I take it back. Holy shit. She's got gifts no mortal was meant to wield. How are you jump scared easily? I'm not at all. I didn't expect an entire fucking Warframe figurine to fall over. What the fuck do you mean? That's like the exact opposite of being jump scared easily. It was a loud noise. Could you not hear it on stream? She's got this shungite now. Oh no. Her staff of shungite. She has a whole blog on her website of her solving the case. No way. So she calls herself clairvoyant, saying she's blessed with the ability to access and interpret information from the universal consciousness. Huh. I use my ability to help solve mysteries and see beyond the surface of people, places, and things. Oh, you're right. Yeah, here's an entire blog. Solving the mystery of the murder of the 4 University of Idaho students. She's been tracking this whole thing. This is just horrible. Because it's real people that she's accusing of being the murderers. I'm a huge fan of internet weirdos that post content online. I get really excited when I find a new entertaining goofball. And over the years, I've kind of made this collection in my little noodle up here, like a little mental museum of my favorite internet oddities. And I'll sometimes just get the urge to see how they're doing. So I'll go to their content, put their sack in my hand, and tell them to cough, to give them a checkup, just to see what's going on and have a little laugh. And recently, I was made aware of one of the most bafflingly delusional content creators I've seen in quite some time, which is a TikTok psychic named Ashley. I made a video on her going over her whole situation. I'll break it down just in case you don't know who this is. Ashley is a self-proclaimed clairvoyant psychic who tries to solve real-world mysteries. She uses less reasoning than Scooby-Doo does in the cartoon. Like, she doesn't even bother actually investigating. She just makes up fan fiction that she pulls out of her ass and then tries to portray it as the truth. So she recently made like 100-something TikTok videos accusing a woman named Rebecca Schofield of being the person responsible for the murder of 4 University of Idaho students. This is a complete baseless claim. She used tarot card readings as well as her own patented method of tapping into the universal consciousness, surfing the cosmic vibes of astrology or whatever, and accusing Rebecca Schofield relentlessly of being the murderer. She's now being sued for this because, as it turns out, Rebecca Schofield is completely innocent. It seems Ashley is going to need to spend a little more time mastering the avatar state to get the proper information, because here's the main suspect, Brian Kohberger. Now, even if it somehow turns out by a crazy plot twist it's not Brian, even though there is a ton of fucking evidence behind it being him, it is still 100% not Rebecca Schofield, as Ashley has claimed hundreds of times now. Now, you would assume that a rational person, after being sued for defamation for accusing an innocent woman of being a murderer, and the most likely real murderer being arrested, you'd think that she'd then be like, yep, looks like I was wrong. This is a big boo-boo from me here. Sorry about all that. The natural next step would be apologizing and trying to move on from it, backpedaling like, looks like I made a mistake. The spirit realm was, the Wi-Fi signals were blocking it and I didn't have my shungite around me. But in the case of Ashley, you'd be wrong, because she commits even further to the delusion, and even after the threat of being slapped around legally, she is still maintaining that she's correct and everyone else is wrong. I'd like to show you some of these TikToks, and I already did talk about some of these in the last video I made, but I actually want to bring this out to a bigger topic, and that's people's inability to accept responsibility even when faced with the absolute truth. People are so afraid of being wrong that they will just do the most unrealistic mental gymnastics that you couldn't even write in a fucking cartoon in order to justify how they're still correct and they're not wrong. I've seen this all over Twitter. When someone gets dunked on Twitter, like they get provably like dunked on with facts, logic, evidence, they still will discredit it or come up with some reason that that evidence, the facts, the proven truth is wrong and they are right. It's this weird defense mechanism that's so infuriating. You see it all the time with flat earthers. How many times have flat earthers proven with their own experiments that the world is round, and yet they still decide to believe that it's flat? It's people still just wanting to feel special. And it doesn't matter what you bring to them, no matter how bulletproof the evidence or the truth is, they'll just decide not to care. They'll just go back to that belief that makes them feel like they're above everyone else and their intelligence is unrivaled. It really grinds my asshole, like chafes the fuck out of it. I went on Ashley's TikTok today because I thought it'd be fun just to have a little giggle. But as I watched her videos, that smile quickly turned to a frown, and I just got so frustrated listening to her try and justify how she's still right.
Also, let's pay attention to the statement the University of Idaho gave regarding the lawsuit that Rebecca Schofield has against me, but also the accusations that I made that she was the one who ordered and who is responsible for the murder of the 4 University of Idaho students. It says, while this lawsuit is a private matter, U of I does not condone spreading false information and find this particular allegation to be one of the worst we have seen.
That sounds reasonable. Straight and to the point. This is false information and some of the worst we've ever seen. Also, the fan fiction she's writing is absolute garbage and fucking trash. She should stop trying to write these erotic novels that she's cooking up here and trying to pass it off as real evidence in a legitimate murder where 4 students lost their lives. She's trying to capitalize off the death of these 4 students with her for her own clout. So there was a lot more they could have said to really just, drive the nail in, but they made a very generic boilerplate response that still just kind of covers this, like, the whole situation.
They've made it clear that they do not condone the spreading of false information. That's one. And for this one, they believe that the allegations I've made is the worst they've seen. Let's pay attention to what they didn't say, which is they didn't say that they agree that Rebecca Schofield didn't know these students. They didn't say that they agree that she didn't teach these students. And they didn't say that they agree that she didn't advise or mentor any of these students. This statement is carefully written, just in case she's guilty.
Getting your arm caught in an escalator and having it crushed to fucking pieces in front of you would be less painful and less traumatizing than listening to her speak about this situation. I don't even know where to begin. Let's start with the obvious. What the fuck are you even trying to say? Here's their statement. But here's what's suspiciously absent from their statement. This is some stupid shit a 4-year-old would cook up in their head. You can actually make this argument for every statement ever. For example, with your own TikToks, you have not once said that you aren't the murderer. Should I start suspecting you as a culprit in this case, as one of the chief suspects? You've made hundreds of TikToks, and I don't think you've mentioned being innocent here. Where were you on the night of the murders, Ashley? It's very odd that you've chosen not to proclaim your innocence or mention where you were on the night of the murders. Now I'm starting to, furrow my brow a bit here and wonder, what's going on behind the scenes, Ashley? Why hasn't that been part of any of your statements? Peculiar, isn't it? They didn't address any of the brain dead shit that you said in this TikTok in their statement because they didn't fucking need to. It's already been proven by law enforcement that you're just wrong on every single goddamn claim.
It's a lot of people on YouTube, on the news and articles, the comments, TikTok videos, whatever. When the truth comes out and you see that I'm right, I just want you guys to leave that stuff up and stand on what you said. Don't delete it and try to bandwagon. Stand on it.
Your arrogance makes me want to cry. Ashley, if anything comes out that's even remotely adjacent to you making a claim that's almost grounded in reality, I will actually shit my fucking pants. Of course I will keep it all up. For those that don't know, a bulk of her claims were about Rebecca Schofield and her internalized lesbianism, where she was an advisor or a mentor to one of the students and she fell in love with her, but this conflicted with her traditional values, and then the student, you know, she was kind of old, and then, but what about Rebecca's husband? And she just made like a 50 Shades of Grey novel around real murders and blaming a real innocent lady for all of it. And not only her, she also throws another real person under the bus as a potential murderer here, talking about how they, you know, like fucking formed this kind of villain alliance here and hired assassins to take out the students. It's an unreal amount of garbage, and it actually does make me upset that she truly believes it so firmly.
I took a nap. I tried to quit, but I can't quit. And I don't even want to cry on you, but when I went to sleep, I had a dream. And in the dream, it was Kaylee's mom and Kaylee's dad. And I was by Kaylee's mom, and we were just crying. And that is so hurtful. But anyway, I'm not going to quit. I've mistakenly let them lead me into masculine energy, which is protective energy, because of the lawsuits and all the negativity and the media and the comments and things of that sort. I've let them force me into masculinity, protective energy. But I should have continued to focus on what I know, which is feminine, intuitive, receptive energy.
Absolutely disgusting. She's now talking about how one of the victims' parents came to her in a dream and they were crying together over all of this. And then, you know, all of the negativities forcing her into masculine energy. Whatever the fuck that means. I did, however, get a laugh out of this whole, like, masculine versus feminine energy thing, as if it's just something that can wash over you because some people left mean comments or called you out on your bullshit. Like, damn, goodness gracious, I looked at a piece of wood today and the masculine energy nearly made me pass out. Or like, hey, Charlie, we're going to a bar tonight, are you in? Nah, sorry, I can't, bro. I ate a Pop-Tart earlier today and I got hit with some childish energy, so now I'm no longer old enough to drink. But you guys have fun tonight. Just such a fucking stupid, silly thing.
Long story short, I'm not posting no more free information regarding this case online anymore. You got people on here asking me information and using my information, then turn around and saying I'm crazy or leading protests against me and allowing me to be badgered.
Even when she does decide to shut the fuck up, which I imagine she was advised to do by a lawyer who's instructing her to stop, hit the brakes as hard as possible and stop posting this shit, she still tries to spin it as like a victory for her and we're all the bad guys for calling her out on how deplorable the whole thing is. So yeah, I just wanted to go over this because I am so tired of people just refusing to accept reality. Like, there's nothing wrong with being wrong. Like, changing your beliefs is a natural thing. It's healthy. You should change your beliefs. You shouldn't have the same beliefs right now as you did 10 fucking years ago. You should be evolving as you're getting new information, you're learning new things. Your beliefs should also be evolving as well. There is no reason to stick to something that is provably wrong and false. It just makes no goddamn sense, and it made me upset today, damn it, and I needed to rant. That's about it. So yeah. I'm sure most of you have heard of the carnivore diet by now. It's not exactly so much a diet anymore as it is just a full-blown personality that people adopt, a full lifestyle now where their whole identity is, I only eat meat. And oftentimes it consists of consuming a lot of raw meat. And I've always just been fascinated by this raw meat eating community because I just don't get how they're not, like, plagued by trichinosis and infested with countless tapeworms, like an absolute nightclub of tapeworms in their gut. Because for me, if I eat a potato chip that's one day past the sell-by date, I get sick. Like, I get an irpy stomach. But meanwhile, they're out there consuming fermented meat that they leave out in the sun until it becomes what they call high meat, which is literally just fucking rotted poison meat. And they'll just eat that and they're totally fine somehow. It blows my mind. But anyway, I'm getting carried away. The reason I'm talking about carnivores today is because there's one that's blowing up on TikTok right now because they've made a spectacle out of their meat eating. And make no mistake, this guy eats more meat than an Aiden Ross fan. He's posted like hundreds of TikToks now doing like these goofy meat eating stunts. And I call them stunts, but it's not like he's doing a backflip while eating a beef liver or something like that. The stunts he does is like, I'll cook a steak in a sink and then I'll eat it and shit like that. And I'm sure you've seen a lot of the content because it's been getting big on Twitter as well. I had to cut out the music, but it's him making this steak in a sink and then eating a stick of butter with it. It's revolting. I couldn't imagine a worse meal or an easier way of contracting some kind of foodborne illness. But this is the content. He is legitimately consuming that. He's not spitting it out, he seems to be enjoying it as if this is an average meal for him that makes his tummy smile. Like, it is mind-blowing. And don't you worry, of course this guy is going to be a member of the Clean Plate Club. He gets every morsel of food in there. I do want to point out that it's extremely possible and even highly likely that he didn't actually eat the steak that was being cooked by the hot water in the sink. We don't see him grab that steak and put it on the plate. He could have swapped that out for a normally cooked steak. But I mean, he still ate a full fucking stick of butter in that case, which is just a gross idea in and of itself. And I wanted to talk about it because not only is it just wild and wacky, but I'm also pretty sure the guy behind the account is very self-aware with what he's doing and he's just made it like his gimmick. But what's crazy is he's so committed to the bit in the character that he actually does eat raw testicles. He eats full sticks of butter. He actually consumes it. But I'm almost confident, like 100% confident, that he knows it's like a joke and he's playing a character. I've never seen someone do so much method acting in my life, if that is truly the case, if I'm correct about that. Like, he has made his carnivore diet more of like a freak show thing. So he's making testicle butter pops, where he takes a raw testicle, puts a stick of butter in it, and bites it, for example.
Guys, if you have never had a testicle butter dog, you need to try this. Raw testicle with a little sliver of butter on the inside. There is seriously nothing better. This is going to give you all the signaling molecules to get you bucked up and the healthy fats, support your brain and your hormones. This is my favorite snack.
I'd also like to point out here that it's extremely possible he spit that out right after the TikTok finished. Or he just projectile vomited it out. We don't actually see him swallow it. I really do think, based on the way he talks and some of the things he says in the videos, that this whole thing is supposed to be a comedy persona that he's adopted and fucking giving his all to, out there at 110%. I'd like to give you an example on what I think is like the most obvious case of him kidding around with this whole thing, but it's very weird even still. Even if I'm right, it's still weird regardless. But this is a video he made where it's like some kind of bull penis snack.
Silly rabbit, Pizzles are for kids. Today we're making my favorite breakfast cereal, Pizzle-O's. This will have the kids begging for it. By now you guys know I'm a huge fan of bull pizzle recipes, so all you're going to do, you guys know this by now, you're going to put your penis in a pot of boiling water. And it's going to take a while, so be patient. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. And before I do anything, I always rub my pee-pee with butter. And then you're going to cut it up nice and fine. Again, nobody wants to choke on the pizzle, so make sure they are nice and small. And this one still had a little junk in the tubes, but that's totally fine. It just adds to the flavor, and it just tastes so good, in my opinion. And once you're done, you're just going to add it to your bowl, and you can add a little bit of milk, but I like it straight. Let me know how you like this recipe.
I think it's super creepy that he keeps mentioning kids when talking about the penis snack, saying that the kids will be begging for it. I think that's super creepy regardless of the intention of the videos. But I do think this one is a clear demonstration that this is all supposed to be a bit because it's so over the top. Also, I think it's very important to notice that he made a cut. So he did have bull penis. He had that whole fucking bull wiener, and he did cut it up, put it in a bowl. But when he was digging around with the spoon, there was a cut right before he had the spoon in his mouth. So I think there's a very real case that he didn't actually eat any of it. So I do think there is a case to be made that quite a few of these videos he's made are fake and meant to troll. Like, maybe even taking the piss out of raw meat eating to a certain degree. There are some that he doesn't fake, though, which is why it's so odd, because there are some where he does eat tons and tons of meat, and he does, like, every time I've seen, finish a fucking stick of butter to himself, but maybe that's his superpower. He's like a fucking X-Men whose only mutation was the ability to polish off entire sticks of butter solo by itself. So, I mean, maybe he was just blessed with that ability. But regardless, some of them I am just going to call out. They're not real. We don't actually see him swallow a lot of the raw meat stuff, especially the raw testicle stuff. One of them is just deceptive, where we don't actually see him eat the pizzle O's or any of that. So some of them are fake, but not all of them.
How many licks does it take to get to the center of a testicle? Well, that's what we're going to find out today, because we're making testy pops. These are testicle lollipops. All you need is a raw testicle, cut it up into 3 little bits. It's pretty simple, and this is very, very tasty. I personally love these. Lay them out on your parchment paper, and you're going to need some toothpicks and a little gloop of honey on each one. The kids are going to love these. Once you put enough honey on it, throw them in the freezer, and then you'll have the answer to how many licks does it take to get to the center of a testicle? Well,
yeah, every time he mentions a penis recipe, he mentions kids with it. Every single time, pretty much. It's fucking weird. It's pretty disturbing. Now, in this case with the testicle pops, again, we don't see him swallow it. He does, take a lick of the old testicle pop, but I was expecting an old Tootsie Pop commercial where the kid gives it to an owl. How many licks to get to the center? A 1, a 2, a 3, and then takes a bite of it. But he doesn't do that. He doesn't actually swallow it, eat it, anything like that. He just puts it in his mouth for like a second. So again, I think this is a case of he probably spit it right out instantly afterward.
This is what happens when you eat 4 pounds of ground beef and sticks of butter every single day for months. And no, I'm not exaggerating. This is my carnivore diet dirty bulk. Starting out at 185 back in August, 3% body fat, visible abs. And this is me today at 205 pounds, feeling a little out of shape. But for the past 6 months, we have been way overeating. I'm talking sticks of butter wrapped in prosciutto, tablespoons of maple syrup on everything I eat multiple times a day, beef tongue on white rice, and these are all very nutrient dense foods. I was just overeating them for every single meal for months on end. And keep in mind, I really wasn't doing any weightlifting over this period. I was just doing a lot of rowing. Here's me out at lunch having a stick of butter. I would actually do this.
This is another one that showcases, like, there are times where he legitimately does consume the food that's on his plate. Like, that 3 pounds of beef and a full stick of butter, he does eat all of that. And he doesn't have a beverage. He makes sure to point that out, saying no bev. And he's right. He doesn't have anything to lubricate the gears there. He just straight up eats all of that. And then he does shove a stick of butter right down his gullet in public. The confidence to do something like that is almost admirable. But then there is an example of one where he doesn't swallow. That's the butter wrapped in raw meat or whatever. I already forgot what it was. But like, that's another one where we don't see him like actually eat that or anything. So I don't know. I feel like there are real videos in here, but sprinkled throughout there are the more outrageous ones where he's clearly not actually finishing those. Like, those are all put on for the sake of the quick TikTok, and that's it. Like the Pizzolos, I'm going to harp on quite heavily because there is a cut. We don't actually ever even see him eat a Pizzle-O. So he probably faked that entire one right there. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about him a little bit because it's still fascinating. If this is all a character and a gimmick, that I think it is, because a lot of the videos seem a little more blatant than others. There's one where he's talking about like taking Trin and shit that's clearly like very tongue-in-cheek. But there are some where it's like, maybe this guy actually does eat this way. It's just a very interesting situation that I thought was at least worth mentioning. And yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. A clout-obsessed goofball on TikTok just ate parasites for views. He turned his stomach into Coachella for tapeworms when he knowingly ate tapeworms out of a fish that he was filleting, which to the surprise of no one apparently gave him a very serious parasitic infection here. Who could have seen that coming? He was eating tapeworms out of the fish like it was popcorn. I'm exaggerating a little bit. He did try to cook it to make it a little safer, but then I'll get into it a bit deeper in a moment. I'm getting into spoilers here for the anime arc. But anyway, his name is Nick, and his insatiable appetite for great high-quality fish was eclipsed by his gluttony for TikTok attention. I learned about this from a YouTuber named Atozi, so I appreciate him shedding light on this story because I wouldn't have seen it otherwise. So let's just get into it. Actually, pump the brakes real quick, hold your horses. Sorry for the blue balls. In Atozi's video, he censors the part that shows the tapeworms because there's a lot of blood there, because obviously he's filleting a fish, so there's going to be blood. I don't know if you have to do that on YouTube, but I'm not going to for this. I feel if I don't show the tapeworms, then there's always going to be that question in the back of people's mind on, is it fake? Because most things on the internet are fake these days, but this one, I don't think is. It would be very impressive props here to have a fish with tapeworms that look like this.
Let's go fishing in the hurricane. I'm gonna be using a whopper flopper, which is a topwater lure. This guy's coming in at 13 inches and a quarter. He has some nice fillets on him. There's blowing all over the place. I'm realizing that he has tapeworms, so it's gonna be pretty tough to eat. I looked it up, and apparently if you cook the fish thoroughly, the tapeworms shouldn't affect you, but I can't say that I'm not experiencing problems after I ate it.
So everything was business as usual here. Nick is a big TikTok creator. He has over 6 million followers, and it was just a normal filleting of a fish until he saw the tapeworms, and then, oh boy howdy, he got some dollar signs in his eyes, and he started to recognize that that is the gold right there. He just got the jackpot, because now he had something that he could do that's a little different that would generate some views for him. Eat the tapeworms. Because for some reason, everyone's like so poisoned with content brain that even something that is detrimental to your health, like eating a tapeworm, is something that people think is a good idea because it'll get extra views with people pointing and laughing at you or calling you an idiot, and that's all that matters, is if you're getting extra attention. So he does it.
This is the fillet I got. I seasoned it, threw it in the pan, and then presented it right next to the tapeworms, which was a mistake. Yo, low-key, like, the tapeworms add some flavor. They're pretty good. This might be TMI. It's been 2 days and I've not stopped going to the bathroom. I'm kind of afraid that I literally have tapeworms in my stomach. I've never gone to the bathroom this much in my life. I'm mildly concerned. If you know anything about this in the comments, please let me know, because I'm kind of afraid that I have a parasite.
Hey Nick, I'm not a medical professional, but you ate tapeworms, so I'm going to say with a high level of confidence, you probably contracted a parasite. But, you know, I'm not highly educated when it comes to parasites. I'm just doing the old eyeball test here. Now, you can shit all over Nick like he's a public toilet seat. You can make fun of him for a lot of different things here, for all the fuck-ups with eating the tapeworms, but one thing you can't hold against him, one thing you can't say he did wrong, was his presentation. He has a talent for plating. I tell ya, that technique was flawless. The way he presented the fillet and the tapeworms was exquisite. That's something Gordon Ramsay would give his stamp of approval to. That was S-tier plating right there. It's just a shame that he was plating a tapeworm buffet.
Update on the tapeworms that I ate the other day. I went to the doctor and he said it is more than likely that I have tapeworm or some kind of parasite inside me. I'm going to the bathroom nonstop. My stomach is killing me. He prescribed me 3 different medications that are anti-parasitic. We've all seen that video of the bear that has like a 50-foot tapeworm coming out of his butt, and that literally could have been me if I didn't get to the doctor in time.
I've never seen that video, Nick. I don't even know why you'd assume that I'd see that video. I'm not looking up bear ass, and certainly not infected bear ass. But now that I've seen the clip, what a wacky one, huh? Jesus Christ. That tapeworm leaking out of its anus, that looks like it's just landed after skydiving. Like, it looks like the parachute strings when you're, like, walking away with your parachute bag and all that hanging out. That is a crazy tapeworm. Is that some kind of world record, or is that kind of normal? I don't really look into, you know, parasites all that often, shockingly.
The doctor didn't know what kind of worm it was, so he just like gave me all the different anti-parasitic things. Some of the worms cause seizure, muscle damage, and like you can lose your eyesight because the worms get in there. If there is any lesson you learned from this, it would be do not eat worms inside of a bath.
A lesson I didn't think anyone ever needed to be taught. I feel like that's just basic, common human knowledge that everyone would intrinsically be born with. The only reason you ate them is because your mind is so warped and rotted from all of this desire for more and more TikTok attention that for some reason you were able to justify putting your health at risk here. Now, interestingly, it only gets worse from here. So he went to the doctor, apparently got, you know, some medication to help combat the mystery worm inside of him, even though I don't think it's much of a mystery. If I was playing a game of Guess Who, I think I'd get this one on my first guess. I think the culprit is a tapeworm. I'll take the mask off of the villain here like it's Scooby-Doo. I think it's a tapeworm that you've contracted. Yeah, just a hunch. But anyway, he gets the medication. He's now got a plan of attack here to get himself feeling better. And then something very, very interesting happens. This video gets posted.
Update on the tapeworm situation with Nick. 7:30 this morning, Nick passed away at the Kaiser Hospital. I was with him over the last 24 hours and he wanted me to inform you guys on the situation. Nick was on antiparasitic medication and unfortunately it was not working. The worm spread to his eyes and brain. By the time we made it to the hospital, it was clear that Nick was not going to be able to make it.
That's when the really dramatic organ music comes in. Doom! So he didn't survive apparently. So this is a friend of his, I guess, announcing that he passed away from the tapeworms that he contracted from eating the fish. Much to the chagrin of his audience, who was very upset, saying things like, you know, fly high, Nick, you know, rest in peace, this and that. It's just a real sad situation to see someone go down this way.
Tomorrow Eternal Funeral Services is where we're going to be hosting something for Nick at 10:30 a.m. on Saturday. It is going to be an open casket. He wanted you to know. Hopefully you guys can all remember him fondly, and I'll be seeing you guys all at the service.
I apologize for the trauma I just gave you guys. I assure you I'm happy, I'm here, and I'm going to be making content for a very long time.
Oh my god, it's a miracle! He's not dead! Oh, we've been fooled! He played us like a fiddle. Wow! You know, just like Dino Spumoni, he faked his own death here with the ultimate goof. So, this is the cringiest shit ever. What's even wilder is the day before, or I don't know if it was exactly the day before, but the video before this, he actually had posted something about losing his brother, talking about the death of his brother here. And I think that one's being truthful. I don't think that one's also some kind of sick fucking twisted joke. So that's some psychopath shit to go from talking about the death of your brother into misleading your audience of children into thinking that you're dead. Now, no one watches the full video for things. Not on YouTube, not on TikTok. People don't even read past the headline on an article on Twitter before, you know, clicking off and already making up their mind about it. So not many people watch the whole video for when Nick came out of nowhere with a patriotic, heroic return. So most people just assume that the guy talking in the beginning here was being honest. You know, like they just took him at his word because they don't know any better. They're young kids on TikTok. It was also super weird that they just dropped a funeral service homepage and told people that there was a celebration of life, a funeral taking place there for Nick. And like I said, a lot of people didn't watch the whole video, so I'm curious if anyone actually showed up to that place expecting a service.
Don't cancel me, Nick made me do it.
The antiparasitic medication did work, guys. I am feeling a lot better. I am editing this video right now, and it is definitely the wildest publicity stunt I've ever done. I have officially faked my own death.
I made a joke about Dino Spumoni, which is a reference to Hey Arnold. It's a guy who actually did fake his own death. That's not what you did, though. You didn't fake your own death. All you did was just lie. Like for only like 20 seconds, too. You just had your friend come out and say that you were dead. It's not faking your own death. That's just like a really lazy, lame prank. Like, that's like the pranks I would do on April Fool's Day in middle school when I'd tell my friends Dragon Ball Z spoilers that weren't real. Like, it's just dumb. Like, it's not some clever, crafty plot that you've hatched, like some genius plan to fool everybody. I think there's a good chance the tapeworms weren't actually defeated, and his friend is right. The worms spread to his brain. Because you have to have brain worms to have come up with this idea. It's so fucking stupid and weird.
I'm really happy that you guys are holding me accountable for this, because creators lying to their audiences is not cool, especially in the manner that I did. I was under the impression that because I was at the end of the video that it would wind up being taken as a lighthearted joke. I should have definitely seen that that was a super foolish take. It was just dumb.
Yeah, he followed it up with this apology video. His audience said, too much cringe, I'm out, lame joke, trash, goodbye. And he's like, wait a minute, I'm sorry. This was dumb. I don't know what I was thinking, it was stupid. You know, I can't tell you how effective it was. I'm not overly familiar with Nick outside of the tapeworms saga here. But yeah, I just wanted to cover this story because it's just a perfect example of how delusional people have become, that they will put their health at risk just for the sake of a couple extra views on TikTok, and then follow through with even stupider plans like pretending that you died for like 20 seconds, I guess for the sake of shock views or something. I don't really know, but it's just all very stupid. I want to talk about it. That's about it. See ya.